My name is Seth Disefano, and I'm the Policy Outreach Director for the West Virginia Center on Budget and Policy. I lead our work at the legislature and through other government bodies around the state of West Virginia, through the county commission, city councils, and Congress. We work on a variety of issues at the center, most of them dealing with tax, budget, and safety net. I became involved with the idea of the Article 5 convention through what is referred to as a balanced budget amendment, Article 5. This is an initiative pushed by organizations such as ALEC that seeks to call an Article 5 convention for what they purport to be the exclusive reason of inserting an amendment to the Constitution that says the federal government has to have a balanced budget, essentially. I am not an attorney, which should give me some points, right? I am registered at the Ethics Commission as a lobbyist, so we'll get that out right up in front. I spend a lot of time at the legislature. There's a lot of reasons that we oppose Article 5. I am genuinely unconvinced that states will likely be able to control the agenda. And I'm genuinely concerned about what that means for the Bill of Rights and for so many things that make America uniquely America. I'm also personally adamantly opposed to Citizens United. Just as from a personal perspective, I think it's done a lot of harm for our country. But I don't think this is the route to fighting back or getting rid of Citizens United. I think that the Constitution provides for a better route that provides us more certainty. Going through the traditional route of adding an amendment by getting 2/3 of each chamber of Congress to support it and then clearly having it ratified by a certain number of the states. I feel a lot safer in that particular environment than I do in an Article 5, and for some other specific reasons I'll be happy to bring up kind of throughout the course of the day. It is good to be here. I would say to the members of Wolfpack who are here, we have a fine representative of the legislature who puts a lot of shoe leather in on an issue that he, I think it's telling. It's kind of a back and forth joke. Legislative leadership only believes there could possibly be a runaway convention when it's Richard's Article 5 they're talking about. All the rest of them are like, well, clearly, no, we can do this. I feel it's kind of unfair. You know what I mean? I've kind of noticed that at the. It's like, wait a minute, hold on a second now. When it's Richard's bill, they tend to have those concerns. When it's someone else's, it's not quite the same way. I've been in the same boat many a time. About myself, just a little bit. I'm a native of Randolph County, West Virginia. I went to Tigris Valley High School, very, very small rural school, 7 through 12. We had about 450 kids. I graduated with 50 of my friends. We're still all very close to this day. Went to West Virginia University. Please don't throw me out of the building. I cheer avidly for Marshall. I want everyone to know that. Every weekend, every ball game, you can count on it. I've been around the political process for better than well over a third of my life. Most of my adult working life in some form or fashion has been involved with politics in West Virginia. That started with the Kerry Edwards campaign in 2004, where I just worked as a field organizer, rolled into a volunteer position with the county executive committee, moved into as a field organizer and a legislative representative for the ACLU, did some other things, and then kind of came into this work a couple of years ago with the center. I think that, I don't foresee, how do I put this? I think that we need political change in this country around the issue of money in politics. I don't think Congress is going to be, just from a practical standpoint, a bunch of politicians who owe their privilege and their livelihood to corporate money in politics are going to be swayed or be told, you have to hold this convention, or you have to endorse this convention right now. And I'm not entirely, I do have concerns, or I wonder if they could just completely ignore, potentially 38 states getting together, or was it 34 is the threshold?
34 to call.
Matching 38 for ratification.
If you have a bunch of, members of Congress, and my understanding is that the decision as to whether or not the threshold has been crossed is solely up to Congress. Would they even bother? Whereas if a senator or a member of the House of Representatives gets a question about, Senator Saffel, Senator Eli has a bill adding an amendment to the United States Constitution that would overturn Citizens United. How come you're not a co-sponsor of that bill? That's where I really feel this particular, debate should go, and I feel it's a much safer vehicle for all of us, and I think it's more effective. And just kind of a little bit in closing, I'm curious to hear questions. I'm curious to anything I can't answer. I promise I'll follow up. There is a document from the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities that I will be certain to post the link to in the Facebook event page that kind of outlines our position. It's got some citations on it. It's pretty good. I'll be kind of cheating and going back and forth from here as we kind of go throughout the evening. But, as a lesson, I look at the debate over healthcare in this country over the last decade and just how far we've come in public perception. Over the last 10 years, 10 years ago, if somebody called for universal healthcare, they were considered liberal. Medicare for all has become almost standard operating procedure, just about wherever you go. I saw some recent polling that actually put it pretty incredibly popular amongst Republicans and Independents and Democrats. That to me is what the power of hey, Senator so-and-so, what about Senator Eli's bill? How come your name is not on that bill? Right? That is where I think that we get the change that we want to have, and I don't feel have the risk and the concerns that kind of make me wonder what could possibly go wrong in a potential runaway convention where so much of what we hold dear could be taken from us, influenced by corporations with massive amounts of money. It's something else I'm very, very concerned about. You can rest assured that any Article 5 convention whatsoever is going to bring down the most powerful, the most moneyed interests to have as much influence on the process as possible, and nobody in this room is part of that party. I'll just tell you right now, right? No one in this room is cutting checks with 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 zeros on the end. But I'm telling you right now, if this comes to, you can absolutely count on that being a part of it, and they're not looking out for you, right? So, some things to keep in mind. It's great to share the stage. Thank you for flying in all the way from Massachusetts when you're not feeling so well. It's great to be here. It's always good to see Richard and Eli, and it's great to meet all of you face to face. If you've been on some of my email chains around like SNAP and some other things on at the legislature, please come up and introduce yourself. I'd love to be able to put a face to a name. Thank you very much.